What's up, everybody? Thanks as always for supporting the show. It would mean a lot to me if you would take a second to scroll down and hit that subscribe button to the Hoops Tonight YouTube channel, and then follow me on social media on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter so you guys don't miss any of our content over the course of this season. All right, let's talk some basketball. All right, moving on to the Warriors and the Rockets. So the bench lineup carries them again. Steph Curry checks out. I think it was 18 to 15 about halfway through the first quarter, like mid-late first quarter. And they bring in their bench lineup, which they've been using so far this season, which is Chris Paul with Gary Payton kind of managing the point of attack assignments, Moses Moody, Jonathan Kuminga, and Dario Saric. And that group just completely took over the game. And by the time Steph came back in like middle second quarter-ish, the Warriors were up by double digits. I think they were up by 13, if I remember correctly. And that's just a huge advantage. To be able to go from down without Steph, or with Steph on the floor, to Steph coming back into the floor with a double-digit lead. And that's why you make the Chris Paul trade. You make the Chris Paul trade to improve the organization of those bench groups. But to be clear, it's defense that's winning those shifts for that group. They have a 92 defensive rating in those possessions. Gary Payton's doing an amazing job at the point of attack. He made a lot of plays defensively in pick and roll in that bench run at the end of the first quarter, in early second quarter yesterday. Jonathan Kuminga brings that downhill rim pressure, slashing from the wing. He's basically like playing on that weak side. Chris Paul's running pick and roll, and whenever he sees that low man come over, he's just throwing it to Kuminga on the wing, and Kuminga's either shooting a catch and shoot three or jab and drive to the left. He's just applying that downhill rim pressure, right? Moses Moody is kind of taking the role of like the 3-and-D guy. He's attacking closeouts, taking open threes when they're there, and he's playing physical point of attack defense. Dario Saric is the kind of like the offensive firepower in the Chris Paul pick and roll, and they're still having a lot of success in pick and pop situations with him just like dropping back to the wing or to the key off of ball screens with Chris Paul. So like it's a sensical lineup. We talk a lot about like the list of responsibilities on a basketball court. Chris Paul fills that point of attack offense, like getting the defense into rotation. Kuminga's like kind of your like a second side creator / real rim pressure guy. Moses Moody's your 3-and-D guy, right? Like Gary Payton's basically operating as your primary point of attack defensive player, but he's operating off the ball in offense, kind of out of the weak side corner and as a cutter, right? And then Dario Saric is your skilled big that allows you to kind of play 5 out offensively, right? Like they just fill all the positions, and they don't need an outstanding rim protector in that lineup so they can play Saric, because you've got great point of attack defenders out there, Gary Payton and Moses Moody, and Jonathan Kuminga, who can be a great point of attack defender when he's locked in. And so it all just makes sense. And that's what allows the Warriors bench lineup to provide more consistent production like they have so far through the season. Again, 42 possessions, really small sample size, but that lineup has been working really well.
For a limited time, Verizon customers can get Netflix and NFL Plus for just $25 a month. It's called Plus Play. That's $120 in annual savings. Plus Play is a platform where Verizon customers can shop, manage, and save on the subscriptions that you already love, right? Like Netflix and NFL Plus. With NFL Plus Premium, you get access to live games on mobile, my fave, NFL Red Zone, NFL Network, and more. Just go to Verizon.com/plusplay. Verizon.com/plusplay to save on Netflix and NFL Plus today for a limited time only now. Limited time only.
And again, like the starters are not playing super great right now. Andrew Wiggins not playing very well, right? Draymond Green coming back from an injury, playing on a minutes restriction. So like they need consistency off of their bench to give their starters time to get their shit together, you know? And then here's the thing, you just got to keep it close. That's what allows Steph Curry to carry you home late. And that's what happened in this game. The Rockets took a late lead in this game. And then Steph Curry just got unbelievably hot and took over late. I swear every heat check run of 3-point shooting is coming in 4s these days. That's been a theme so far in this regular season. Steph hit back-to-back pull-up threes. Well, some of them were on the move, but like back-to-back threes to basically put the game away. Then there was a fun one for all us basketball fans out there. Like, for the record, like Dillon Brooks as a basketball player. I think he's legitimately very good defensive player. He actually is a little better offensively in the last 6 months than I think he was in previous years, which is encouraging for the Rockets. He's actually become a decent playmaker off the bounce too. Good basketball player. Probably even deserving of his contract, right? But I just don't like the guy. I think he's downright disrespectful to better basketball players than him. Like, talking shit on the court to me is a normal part of competitiveness, but like going into the press and just talking shit about people for no reason is disrespectful, unlikable, pointless. I think it's inauthentic too. Like, I don't think Dillon Brooks is actually wired that way. I think he's just being a dick because he thinks he's trying to build that villain brand up, right? So like just not my favorite dude, you know? So like I'm always going to enjoy when Steph Curry has a moment at his expense. And I didn't even mention all the dirty player stuff. Like Dillon Brooks has hurt guys, like has actually hurt guys making dirty plays on the court. I'm just not a Dillon Brooks fan. But when Steph Curry hit him with like the behind the back crossover, back to the left and back behind the back again to the pump fake as Dillon Brooks goes flying by and hits a shot in his face and Steph is freaking out as he's running down the floor. Those are the things that I love about basketball. Because regardless of what you end up saying at the end of the day, like you can't talk all that shit and then just get your ass bust by Steph Curry, right? Like that's the downside. You talk, you got to back it up. And basketball is very much a results sport. And like you always live to fight another day and you always have another chance to try to make someone pay. And Steph got the better of Dillon Brooks in a big way down the stretch of that game. Steph's been fantastic so far this season. That you can kind of see things kind of coming together for this team. Kuminga's been really good again yesterday, just making a higher level offensive plays than you're expecting him to make at this phase in his career. The bench fit that we went over is perfect. You're pairing that with the best starting lineup in the league last year, right? There's just a lot of stuff coming together for this team. Very small sample size. I'm not going to get too excited until we get about 20 games in. But the Warriors look a lot closer to the 2022 version of them so far than they do the 2023 version, and that's exciting. On the Rockets front, the only thing I really want to hit on here is the Fred VanVleet thing is so confusing to me. And like, I remember that was like, if this is what you were going to do, like largely give the keys to a guard, or to a veteran guard who's a little bit past his prime, like why didn't you just pay James Harden? Because like the VanVleet thing's not going well. 0.87 points per pick and roll. He's co-opting the offense too often. He's 4 ISOs, just scored once on him. 4 for 12 at the rim. They finally let Jalen Green be more aggressive in last night's game, but like it's a little too many hands in the pot right now. It's a lot of guys out of rhythm sort of thing going on. The only real reliable point in their offense right now is Şengün, who was pretty good again yesterday, 7 assists and 0 turnovers. Like I just wish I could understand what the big picture goal is for this Rockets team. And here you are at 0-3. So if the move was, hey, we're going to bring him in and we're going to win games, that's not working either.